I'm outside. It's like 33 degrees. Show you a little bit about what's going on. Got to take the trash up. And the reason I'm showing you this is because it used to be that I had trouble doing this. And I would get right about here and my muscles just start to get like really weak. Morning. And I would get up to the dumpster where I'm taking the trash, and you'll see it's not very far. And I would have to stop and rest. So I would make it right about here, and by the time I got here, I was in lots and lots of pain. And I wasn't able to make it back. I gotta put the trash down. Wasn't able to make it back to my apartment. I would have to go right over here. And that's what I would have to do. You kind of see where I live a little bit. But now I don't have any pain. And you hear me, I'm a little bit out of breath because my muscles haven't quite recovered from spinal cord damage. But I'm going to stop this and pick up inside. Okay, I'm back inside, and there's my cat Nikki. I'm going to give you like a quick kind of sweep around my apartment just a little bit. Have is back there. And like I said, that's Nikki, my two cats. The place is cat friendly. All this stuff is not trash. It's like stuff that the cats play in. And over here, you kind of have a little trouble seeing it because it's so bright. But that's where I grow my carnivorous plants that eat bugs. And the reason I was showing you the walking outside, and the reason I don't wear a coat, is because my muscles overheat. So I'm still in the process of like calming my muscles down, and I'll get into that in the video I'm about to make, but just want to give you like a quick view of the house and the cats and some other stuff. And then I'll get to the regular video. Okay, so I showed you those first two videos. I'll start on the one where I took the trash out because growing up, and then about 7 years ago, I had a really bad injury to my neck, and but I had injuries to my neck for years when I started. If you look at my forehead, I got a little divot on my forehead, and that's because I hit the windshield when I was 5 years old. That was before car seats, before seat belts. So you know, I had had injuries, but I had a really bad injury 7 years ago. And for 7 years, I was in pain. This is the 16th of December, 2024. My pain went away on December 2nd. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about. But I showed you in that video going to the dumpster that I would get really out of breath, and I'm still getting out of breath because my muscles are recovering from the damage. But see, the thing of it is, the doctors say that when you have a spinal cord injury, and mine is at the base of the neck, 5th and 6th cervical disc. I had the 5th and 6th cervical disc replaced, and you can see my scar down here a little bit where they go in and they replace the disc. But basically, the doctors say there's no recovery. You just don't get better. And I said, well, I have another report. God's word says that I'm already healed. And, you know, that basically comes, and I'll talk about that a little bit. It basically comes when you're trusting God for healing. You have to have a clear mind. You have to use your will. You have to keep a positive attitude. But if you just do those things, it's not as effective as believing God to do what he said he's already done for you. And I'll get back to that. But basically, I had the spinal cord injury, and then as a result of that and some other things, they diagnosed me with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And the video that I showed you of my house, if you look at some of the shelves, they look kind of junky because there's a lot of stuff like sitting out. But what that is doing is I have things set out in a particular order because PTSD affects the short-term memory. So in order for me to remember things, I use visual cues around my apartment where I have things set up. And when I get up and I see those things, that triggers my mind to remember to do certain things. PTSD, like with the short-term memory problems, it's not like you forget that it's Christmas or that it's the 4th of July, or you forget something that happened, in your childhood. It's not like that. It's not like Alzheimer's disease where people get confused and they think it's the past, or they don't remember stuff, or they don't recognize people. It's not like that. With PTSD, you're in a state called hypervigilance. And the hypervigilance it gets you to the place where your mind and body, because there's like a muscle memory, is basically stressed to the point where every little thing that comes against you, anything that challenges you, anything that threatens you, can just dump your uh, like your temporary memory. And it doesn't like make you lose your memory. You don't forget what's going on, but your short-term memory just kind of is like a dry erase board. So that, let's say, you know, I've had to go to the store and I like need 6 items. So I go to the store and I walk in the store, and as soon as I get there, I try to remember the 6 items and I can't remember them. So I have to do things like make lists. I put a lot of notes on my phone and things like that. That's how I manage the PTSD. But basically, aside from having to keep some of these things straight and kind of manage it, because I still have to work on it sometimes, basically, I'm healed of the effects of PTSD. And basically, even though the doctor said that I shouldn't be able to walk, that's what my neurologist said. He showed me on a big screen TV this white line, and he said, that's damage to your spinal cord, and it was from the neck down. So basically, everything from the neck down isn't supposed to work. Well, what happened to me was my brain, I found this out from my neurologist, my brain rewired into what they call cross dominance. My neurologist was, doing the little rubber hammer thing, and he was checking this wrist here, and he hits it with the hammer, and the hand flies up. Well, as soon as that happened, my left leg kicked out. And I said, what's going on with this? And he explained, he said, it's cross dominance. And basically it means that when I had the damage, I shouldn't have been able to walk. I shouldn't have been able to do anything. Basically, I would have been bedridden. But what happened was my brain rewired my whole system. And as a result of rewiring my whole system, it found where it could make connections between my brain, my nerves, and my muscles. And it found muscles that were still working that it could get a signal to. And then those muscles started to do things like walking and having bladder and bowel control, which is one thing that my neurosurgeon pointed out. He said that, you still have this even though you have a damage at the base of the neck. But I had to relearn how to do all these things. And as a result, you've got a bunch of muscles that aren't supposed to be doing these things, but they're doing them anyway because the other muscles atrophied. And when the muscles atrophied and these other muscles are overworking, that's why, I don't wear a coat, because just walking to the dumpster, some of my muscles are still not working in the order they're supposed to be. I'm just getting those atrophied muscles. I'm doing core exercises and stuff to try to get them built back up. But in the process, it creates a lot of pain because you have atrophied muscles and muscles that are working overtime. And like when I came back from just making that little short video that you saw me do, I had to come in, take my shirt off, and just kind of relax for a while. And I was sweating like really, really badly. And that's the thing that happens. And as a result of the spinal cord injury and the PTSD, I had other issues as well. I have myositis, which creates a lot of muscle pain. and it can cause difficulty swallowing. And I'm not going to go into the details, but if you have difficulty swallowing and you're trying to eat, guess what? It gets a little messy because you can't swallow and you still have to eat. So, I've had problems with that. That is getting a whole lot better. And the other thing is, if I can remember how to say this, anumic aphasia, which basically means I can get words mixed up. Like if we were having a conversation, we were going somewhere, and you said, how long is it before we leave? I might say 12 miles. And of course, obviously, I don't mean 12 miles. I mean 12 minutes, but my brain just can't find that word that I want to say. And the other thing is, it's like I went into a restaurant and I got some chicken nuggets, and I wanted chicken nuggets with barbecue sauce. And they said, what do you want? And I said, chicken nuggets. And they said, what kind of sauce do you want? And nothing would come out. I knew what barbecue sauce was. I could see a picture of it in my head. I knew what I wanted, but as far as finding the word to say it, I couldn't. And then the clerk just kind of dumped some stuff on the thing, and I pointed to it, and that's how I got it. But that's anumic aphasia that gets in. But anyway, I get here. I don't know if you can see Nikki's tail. Nikki's tail waving up here. I'm sitting on the floor. That's where I like to sit most of the time. I'm more comfortable this way. But basically, I want to talk about healing. And like I said, it's good to have a positive attitude. But a positive attitude isn't going to cure you of cancer, which I got cured of cancer. I had 4 lumps in my body. I believed the Lord. I said, I'm going to live. I'm going to live well. And that's another story, but no lumps, no cancer. Okay. So I got cured of cancer. Don't feel like there's any situation that's hopeless. I was cured. You can be cured too. Starts out with a positive attitude, but it also goes, if you're really going to get the help that you need, you have to understand that God is not against you. If you're not a believer, you need to be a believer. And being a believer is simply saying, this is not working for me. I realize that there's a lot that I'm separated from. And what I'm separated from is a loving God. So I would like to do enough and be good enough to get to that loving God. But the plain fact of the matter is I can't do it on my own. So God says, hey, I see your problem. I'll do it for you through Jesus. I'll let Jesus come, be a perfect example. And then you believe on what he's done, and we're connected. We're together. And that's what basically being born again is. So, forget the religious ideas, forget the idea that people are telling you, you've got to do this, you can't do that. Don't worry about that stuff, okay? You get connected to the one who created you. You'll know what to do and you'll know what not to do. And it won't be this constant temptation like, oh no, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I do it anyway. If you get connected to God, you're not going to have that going on. If you're having temptations, you just need to get into connecting with him. And that is understanding that he unconditionally loves you. And a lot of us grew up with conditional acceptance, which means if you do what I say, maybe I'll give you what you want. Okay. God says, it doesn't matter. I've given you everything. And I want you to have the best. All you have to do is receive it. And you have to be connected to him through what he did for you through Jesus. Okay. But then it's like with what Jesus did for us, it's like he was the perfect example. So instead of us having to come to God and say, here's my best effort, can you kind of slide me something? Okay, we go to God and say, well, Jesus did it perfectly for me, so I'll just receive that. Okay. Everything you promised me, I'll just receive it. If I need healing, God, I receive healing from you. And then what you do is, you keep your mind filled with the word. That helps. Keep your mind filled with things like, I'm going to live well. That's what cured me of cancer. That's what got rid of 4 lumps in my body. I mean, all I said was, I'm going to live and I'm going to live well. Okay. And that cured me. That got through me. Took a while. But don't worry about it if it takes a while. Stick with it. If the doctor gives you medication and you take 1 pill and it doesn't work, you don't say, hey, this isn't working. Okay. Understand it's working. Some medications have to build up in your system, and what you basically have to do is change the way you're thinking. All right. So if you change the way you think and you understand God loves me unconditionally, and God has already done everything for me that I will ever possibly need, and all I have to do is receive it, then it just becomes a process of learning how to receive better and better. If you try something and it doesn't work, go to God. Hey, I was trying this. I thought that was the right thing to go. Maybe I need to make an adjustment here. Okay. But whatever it is, you just keep going at it, and you keep going and keep going and keep going. I'll probably make a few more videos about health and healing and about how to renew your mind and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to give you an overview of my situation and the fact that the doctor's report was no hope, doesn't get better, you're not going to get better. And here I am getting better, even though I'm still struggling. Okay. Even though it's only been 15 days since I was without pain, and I had pain for 7 years. The pain's gone. What would I have done if I gave up? I'd still be in pain. I'd still be getting worse. But live and learn, okay? And don't be down on yourself if you do something and make a mistake. If you make a mistake, say, okay, I made a mistake. This doesn't work. God, can you help me so that I'll do something that does work? And He will, okay? So just be positive about things. Keep the right attitude. Keep renewing your mind. And whatever you do, just never, never, ever give up.